Adam Schefter just lit the fuse. The Arizona Cardinals have no quarterback. The Jets are going to steal Ty Simpson in the draft before pick 34. And when that happens, the phones at Hollis Hall are going to ring again asking about Tyson Bagent. Polls already told them no once. This week, with the draft right around the corner, the price goes up, and there is a move Ryan Poles is making with pick 25 that nobody in the Windy City sees coming. That, plus the political battle that decides whether the monsters of the Midway stay in Illinois or leave for Indiana forever. And what Caleb Williams said about DJ Moore, that was not protocol. It was too honest for a third-year quarterback. All of that right now, bear down. All right, to understand what is happening with Tyson Bagent this week, you got to understand the domino effect that is building inside this draft. And that domino starts with an Alabama quarterback named Ty Simpson. Adam Schefter reported on April 20th that the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Jets are the two teams to watch for Simpson in this draft. That is where the problem starts for Arizona. The Jets are picking at 16 and 33. The Cardinals don't come up until pick 34, which means if the Rams, the Steelers, or the Jets grab Simpson before Arizona's turn, the Cardinals are completely shut out of their draft plan at quarterback. And when Arizona runs out of draft options, the phones at Hollis Hall are going to start ringing again. Because remember, the Cardinals already called back at the February Combine. Arizona was the most persistent team asking about Bagent. Ryan Poles confirmed he had been getting calls from multiple teams interested in his backup. The talks died when Chicago set a price that Arizona considered too high. Word leaked that Arizona's offer was around a 4th or 5th round pick in 2027 that could escalate into a 3rd, depending on how many games Bagent started. Poles said no, and honestly, bro, good for him. Look at what they have in Bagent. 26 years old, 4th year in the league, 2-year, $10 million contract signed last offseason, keeping him under control through 2027. A 2-2 record as a starter, a 66.4% completion rate for his career. This man has real trade value, and the Bears have zero pressure to move him. But here's the part I find genuinely fascinating from a football strategy standpoint. Chicago holds the 25th overall pick in this draft, and according to reporting out of A to Z Sports, the Bears could be a trade-back team to watch, potentially packaging that pick in a deal that could run simultaneously with a Bagent trade. 2 moves in one, Poles sliding back to accumulate picks while also clearing Bagent's salary off the books to reinvest elsewhere. If that happens, that is a straight masterclass from the front office at Hollis Hall. Now look, I could be wrong on this, but the logic is clean. If the Bears wait until after the draft and Arizona still hasn't found their quarterback, the Cardinals come back desperate. And when a team comes desperate, the price goes up. The Bears are playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Bagent himself spoke publicly about the trade rumors for the first time on the CHGO Bears podcast and kept it completely real. He said the uncertainty is not something he enjoys, but that he understands the business side of the league. Respect to the man. He has handled this with class from day one. But this week, over the next few days, depending on how the draft board falls in the Windy City, Bagent's situation could finally get resolved one way or another. So tell me in the comments, what do the Bears ask for Tyson Bagent? A 2nd-round pick, a 2nd plus a conditional? I want to know what y'all think. And while the draft drama is dominating every screen in the country, there is a political battle happening right now that could define the future of this franchise for the next 5 decades. And fam, this one matters. Illinois does not want to lose Bears to Indiana. And this week, they made their most serious move yet. State Representative Cam Buckner introduced a new amendment that combines 2 things. First, a pilot law, which basically allows the Bears to renegotiate their property taxes with Arlington Heights, giving the team the fiscal certainty they need to commit to building a domed stadium there. And second, this is the new part, a property tax relief package for homeowners across the entire state of Illinois, not just Arlington Heights. Why that second piece? Because Chicago Democrats were not going to vote yes on a bill that benefited a suburb unless their constituents saw something real in return. Buckner understood that and baked it into the package. Smart politics. Buckner said it himself, quote, "I am finding a way to bake in some property tax relief for homeowners across the state." That is how you move votes in Springfield. But here's where it gets tense. Indiana is still very much on the table. The Bears met last Friday with Hammond Mayor Thomas McDermott at the site near Wolf Lake where the team would build if they decided to cross the border. George McCaskey and Kevin Warren were there in person. That is not symbolic. That is real leverage. The Bears expect to make a final decision by late spring or early summer. This is the story that does not always trend on social media, but every Bears fan needs to be tracking it. A stadium in Arlington Heights means the franchise stays in the Chicago area. A move to Indiana means, man, it means a lot of us are going to have a very rough Tuesday night. Illinois is fighting. Now let's see if it's enough. And to bring it home, something that is not exactly breaking news, but when I read it, it just hit different. Caleb Williams sat down and talked about DJ Moore. And man, he was more honest than most veteran quarterbacks would ever be in front of a camera. He said, and I'm quoting directly, DJ Moore's a pro. He's been that since he's been in the league. On the football side of it, you're going to miss him out there making plays for you, for me, for the team. And then he went personal. He said, on my side of it, the personal side, you miss the guy. I've been around him for 2 years. We'd go over to his house to play cards. We eat food. We watch games. He'd come over to my house. You build a relationship. It sucks that he has to go. Man, when a quarterback says that in front of reporters, he is not performing. That is real. That is genuine. That is who Caleb Williams is. But then he did something that showed you exactly why this kid is built for this moment. He pivoted. He talked about Luther Burden III with a completely different kind of energy. He said, quote, "We know who Luther is. We know he's a competitor. We know when he gets the ball in his hands. He's a problem child," as he says. That right there is the transition. Close one chapter, open the next one, and come in with full belief in your guys. That is quarterback leadership. Caliph Raymond comes in as the veteran presence to fill that experienced wideout role. Rome Odunze continues developing as a potential WR1. And Luther Burden III enters the picture as last year's draft pick, ready to take that jump. The wide receiver room is going to look different in 2026. The question is whether it will be different enough for Caleb to take that leap we all believe he is capable of. This is Draft Week in the Windy City, fam. The Bears hold pick 25. Ryan Poles is working the phones. Caleb Williams is locked in with a hungry new receiver room, and a future stadium is being negotiated in the hallways of Springfield as we speak. Everything is moving. Everything is aligning. And if you have been riding with the Navy and Orange through the tough years, you already know these are the moments that make it all worth it. Drop it in the comments. Who do you want the Bears to draft this Thursday? And what do you think Chicago should demand for Tyson Bagent? Bear down, always bear down.